So, one more video then. The Cosmology of Mistfall. This is highly recommended if you are into Heart of the Mist and its lore and background story world building. Let me try to make it a little bit bigger. The oldest tales of northern realms speak of a featureless, barren globe suspended in nothingness, and of two prime powers that descended from the void to shape the world and bestow upon it the gift of life. That is later explained in the Heart of the Mist, who these are. Some say that the divine beings that had been separate and different from each other since the beginning of time. According to others, it was when the sun had arisen and then set over the world for the first time that the two gods were separated for the first time, one embracing the light and becoming dawn, the mother of day, and the other forever merging with the darkness to become dusk, the night father. Despite their differences, they labored dauntlessly, always on two opposing ends of the globe, enveloping it in clear skies, sculpting mountains and valleys, separating the lands from the seas, and filling rivers and lakes with water. They would also create life. Dawn crafting plants and all the creatures that would feed on them, and dusk shaping beasts of prey and all things that happy to live under a night sky. Finally, having built a glorious home for their offspring, they went about creating their masterpiece, the firstborn. The work was divided evenly. While Dusk crafted his children's bodies by night, Dawn would create their minds and souls by day. It was also during the day that she breathed life into them, and as they looked upon the world for the first time, they fell in love with their mother, who they would forever follow, developing an immediate distrust of darkness, and even though Dusk would give them with all his love, they would still shun him. The Night Father was heartbroken. Despite his best efforts, his offspring would remain fearful or indifferent, not recognizing him as their creator and protector. Finally, disappointed and scorned, Dusk lashed at the ground in a fit of dark rage, burning his creations with a wrathful black fire, covering the lands in ash and burying the broken bodies of his children under rock and stone. Silence fell over the world once again, and in the distance Dusk could hear the mournful cries of Dawn, as even she was not able to give life back to their murdered children. Remembering the pain of his own loss, the Night Father harvested the mercy and hope still lingering in the cold darkness, until he could give it shape and forge it into a moon. And as the moon eclipsed, the sun, the mother of day and the father of night were united one last time to work together on recreating their greatest achievement. And so they crafted mankind, gifting it with both their essences in equal measure, instilling human minds with light and darkness, made the gods' children truly free, for now they had the capacity to love both day and night, and the ability to choose between the two paths that started from the same place but ultimately led into two opposite directions. Since that last union, the moon has stood as a solemn reminder of Dusk's last act of grace, and some say it reflects the light of the sun, because the Night Father used up all of his compassion to forge its celestial body, and all of his love for the Mother of Day to make it yield to his will and eclipse the sun, and that's when it all happens again. It will be the end of days. Now, the awakening and the first age, from the day of the awakening, humanity started spreading and conquering the furthest corners of its new home. And as men grew in the light, the Mother of Day watched her children with pride. But dusk would look upon them with a growing disdain, for in those times only few would choose. The shadows over the light of day. Sorry about this. And those who did were either too weak to make their father proud, or so headstrong that they would try to harness his power and use it to their own ends. Bitter and irate, Dusk turned his thoughts to crafting a new race, one that would serve him without question. In the deepest darkness of the old forests, in the forgotten caves under the tallest mountains, he engineered his servants, building their bodies to resemble both humans and the beasts of prey he had made in the beginning. Without Dawn's aid, he crafted their minds with his own essence, instilling in them a primal rage and a desire to feed and to conquer. Satisfied, the Nightfather watched his new offspring multiply and grow in strength, with minds focused on an endless hunt. And when their numbers grew, he unleashed them upon humanity. From now on, in the forests and on the edges of civilization, men would become prey as often as they would be hunters, for it was the Nightfather's desire to prove that his creation was better than that of him and Dawn. A struggle between humanity and the beast-man would continue for countless centuries. Where children of Dusk came to rule, chaos would ensue. With minds set on the hunt without common enemies, the wild beast-men would fight among themselves, forming tribes to war with each other, spilling blood over hunting grounds, and falling deeper and deeper into an eternal strife that would in time leave them open to retaliation. Displeased yet again, the Nightfather tried to punish those of his offspring who were first to turn against their own kind, but quickly found out that whatever ill fortune he would condemn them to, it would only make their fury burn ever hotter and more savage. Finally, Dusk came to realize the weakness of his creation. While men, made when Dawn and Dusk had labored together, would be free to become destroyers or builders, the beastmen were condemned to one purpose. To the one purpose the Nightfather had forged them for, and it seemed that all they would ever want was the power to hunt and kill and war each other in an eternal conflict. Endless conflict, okay. The coming of the mists. Growing more and more tired, with his grip on the beastman slipping, Dusk devised a simple but cruel punishment. The Nightfather turned his gaze away from his children, and all the magic they had called upon to strengthen them would disappear. Suddenly deprived of their might, the shamans and chieftains of the tribes called out to their father, but he would not answer, watching in bitter satisfaction as servants of Dawn started once again claiming the wilderness that had belonged to the beastmen. But the beastmen, unable to comprehend the change of their fate, would still call out, craving for their lost strength. Drums beat day and night, as the abandoned tribes performed dark rituals, trying to win back the grace of Dusk by feats of strength and bloody sacrifice. Determined To regain what they had lost, they would call out dauntlessly until something answered. From the far north, from a land where night and day are almost like one, the mists reached out to the abandoned children of dusk, first touching the Goran, the mightiest and most numerous tribe, filling them once more with the power they had craved so much. But the touch of the mists was far different from the gaze of the Nightfather, as it would twist and transform its new servants, and where it was thickest, even the land itself. Filled with a new power, suddenly more malicious and bloodthirsty than ever before, the beastmen struck against humanity with a cruelty and relentlessness that made the human kingdoms shudder. I think you get the point. This is excellent writing, and yeah, this is actually, I think this is without question something that you want if you are into this stuff, of course. Let's see what else you get. There are character cards. And they go on and on, of course. Heroes. Okay. So that's the same setup, same structure as the expansion. And here you get another one. I think I like the artwork better in look, it's pretty nice. I like the artwork better than the expansion. There's more to them. I can never rotate. I don't know, like so. Yeah.